Greetings once again, spacefaring adventurers. Duuz-Diz-Din back again with Eden Zero. In the previous chapter, the tale of Mother's origin wraps up with what Ziggy ended up doing with the infant Shiki after Ziggy inadvertently ended up picking up the baby and snatching the child away from an imminent death from the post-apocalyptic Earth right as Mother went into overdrive. Shiki, now tasked with raising the last human on Earth, and himself, created the four shining stars, intending them to be caretakers, but implanting false memories in them of having come from Grand Bell in order to give them, I guess, more personality. Still kinda unclear why that was so necessary, but I guess he didn't want them to be heartless automaton. Oddly enough, these memories kind of weighed on Ziggy, as the shining stars had personality, hope, dream, and even questions about why they looked the way they did, and even memories of beings they never met before, including Michael. Ultimately, the guilt was too much, and Ziggy gave them their freedom after only ever spending a couple of weeks together, with them thinking they went on this whole big journey with him. He even ordered the Edens 1 to shut down the Dark Stars project, which was just, I don't think it was even called the Dark Stars, as well as the construction of the Edens 1 ship, which we know the Edens 1 AI program did not follow, developing its own agenda because of the I swear to God, this is so weird. The unborn child of Shiki and Rebecca, who was still only a slight glimmer of a consciousness inside of its mother's womb. Oh my God, that's so weird. With the tale finally fully being told, Mother asked Shiki his decision: save Mother, but end up dooming those who died in alternate timelines of potential and more than probable death in this one, that would include Shiki's friends and allies, or allow Mother to die, right then, right there, saving the lives of everyone he currently knows, but making sure that the universe will only last a finite amount of time. Just a paltry another 20,000 years, naturally. And hilariously, because I'm still behind on the Eden Zero anime, but I got around to the part in Sunjul where, despite the fact that those in the labor camp are being threatened if Shiki acts, he's like, no, I'll do anything for my friends. Which honestly just sets up the decision that Shiki would make. It's just like, no, I choose to save my friend. So instead of the path of a savior, Shiki chose the path of the Demon King. And thus Mother begins to dissipate, space begins to distort, and Void reveals that he has won. Something that it seemed as though he knew was going to happen. Somehow Void seemed to know Shiki was going to make this decision. And now the question remains, what happens next? Void got what he wanted, for the most part, but he still needs to be stopped. And what will Ziggy think of Shiki's decision? Join me as I find out, won't you? Right, Eden Zero, Chapter 277, Fading Mother. A little on the nose, but okay. Nice little image of Homura on a bit of a shrine visit. I wonder what her wish was. It is weird to have come this far, and ultimately, we found Mother. The goal was never originally to save Mother, it was to find her. We did, and we ended her life, essentially. Okay, this is weird. What happened to all the dragons that were surrounding the Eden Zero? Regardless, space continues to warp, reaching all the way over to where the Eden Zero is. Everyone on board watches the space around them in shock. Sister questions, what just happened? Well, Witch shockingly exclaims, space is warping? Moscow says, it feels massively yucky. Jin desperately questions, what's going on? While Klein says, space, it went all weird. Homura calls out, teacher, what is? And Valkyrie tells her, I don't know. A worried Wise states, don't tell me something happened to Shiki. And while Hermit types away at her control panel, she says, no, it might be worse than that. Ether is rapidly declining throughout the cosmos. It's possible that something happened to Mother. Yeah, about that. Laguna asks her, so what does that mean? Hermit explains, if we keep losing ether at this rate, then in the near future, humans will no longer be able to survive. Ooh, so the near future. Ugh. And eventually neither will machines. Oof. That's, yeah. A bit of a bitter choice Shiki had to make there. Staved off an immediate death, but doesn't mean it's not gonna come soon enough. Wise calls out, "How are you letting this happen, Shiki? Do something!" Meanwhile, we see Mother continuing to fade away. As those in the Leo Starfighter watch, Pino states Mother is fading away, as Rebecca just simply says, yeah. Shiki watches in silence, while Happy questions, was this really the best idea? Rebecca reaffirms, saying, well, if we had saved Mother, then Witch and Valkyrie and even Shiki, we lose them all again. Shiki states a simple yeah, but he does have a somewhat smile on his face, a hopeful smile I guess, stating, and I don't want to lose anyone. So first I made sure our now isn't going to change. Rebecca questions, our now? Shiki explains, I trust Mother. I believe she'll make sure I get the results she promised. In other words, I made sure that everyone who's alive in this universe stays alive. Yeah, and Pino even states what I'm thinking right now is like, one might call that wishful thinking. It's like, right? It's just like, I mean, I kind of figured that was the route he was gonna go, but the how is kind of the question here now. Shiki states, what's wrong with that? If you're wishing, you still have hope. Because I'm planning to save Mother too. What? Wait, what? I should have known. But there's still the question of how. How do you save Mother then? I feel like some people are going to be mad. It's just like, no sacrifice. But I'm actually just curious how he does it. Because, I mean, knowing that the counterparts of the Shining Stars and Dark Stars died to get Mother to this state, to give existence essentially a chance, they essentially extended the life of the cosmos. Shiki's parents died for this mission. To have Mother, I guess, just fade away, I guess would still be a little messed up. So you could kind of see it as Shiki wanting to preserve the life that his parents and their friends died to create. I kind of like that. I'm not mad at it. Rebecca just pauses for a moment and says, what? How? And Happy freaks out saying, yeah, she's already disappearing right in front of us. Shiki says, I'll explain, but I want everyone to hear it. Pino, connect us to the Eden Zero. Pino says, roger that. And a communication comes over to the Zero, with Hermit saying, it's Shiki. An angry and upset Wise says, yo, idiot, what in the blue blazes have you been doing? But a serious Shiki explains, guys, I need you to listen. Ooh boy. One explanation later, Jin says dumbfounded, you met Mother? While Klein questions, and you erased her? Which just listens in silence, while Shiki explains, well, technically she isn't gone yet. Hermit freaks out saying, how could this have happened? Shiki says, I don't have time to go into details, okay. So I gave him the Cliff Notes version, which doesn't sound great no matter how you spin it. Well, Wise freaks out again saying, all of outer space is gone wonky because of you, you know. Shiki says, I know. Anyway, I'm going to change Mother back to her original planet form. She herself said that's what will save her. Wait, change her back to her planet form? The chronophage? Yeah, it would be the chronophage, right? That would be the only way. That would save her. Okay, yeah, that would make the most sense. That would make the most sense, because Rebecca can call the chronophage with her ability. Wait, no. She can't use her abilities to that degree anymore. And would that still summon the chronophage? Maybe. Okay, let's keep going. Yep. Sure enough, the very next page, it's like, it dawned on me. I'm like, wait a minute, we just saw how he could save Mother. Homer asks, what? And Shiki says, Mother is a planet. And that means, if she gets eaten by a chronophage, we can change her back to her planet form. But how much of her time would be eaten? Then again, even 50 or so years would be good. Even a year would be good. Even 10,000 years would be good. Shoot, you could actually do that perpetually. The chronophage is still such a mystery though, Wise desperately questions, but based on what you told us, that planet was dying and had to use the last of its power to overdrive into Mother, right? If you change her back into a planet, it's just going to be a repeat of the exact same thing. Shiki explains, you're right. Mother has already been eaten by a chronophage and turned back into a planet once before. For all we know, it's happened more than that. Maybe it happened a bunch of times. Yeah, shoot, freaking time shenanigans. He then says, but this time, will stop the planet from being destroyed. Oh god, this is the everyone lives scenario. Maybe. That has even more weird implications. Okay, I gotta admit, this series is going some interesting places. Wow. Sister begins to ask, how could we? But she cuts her off saying, our technology might be good enough to save it, right? Pino says, it is true that planet civilization was not as advanced as ours. Happy says, yeah. They didn't even have androids. We know a lot more about science. Wise questions, even if that is true, how will we get the chronophage here? Shiki asks, remember when we did that Operation Planet Eater? And we were gonna hit Lendard with that chronophage? But Hermit explains that was because the chronophage just happened to be nearby. But as Hermit runs the numbers, she realizes something, saying, wait, maybe we can summon that chronophage. As she begins to go over more and more data, she says, if we do it that way, we might be able to get a chronophage here to this cosmos. Shiki says, Pino. As he smiles, says, Pino, now connect me to Grandpa. Pino says, yes, master. Over with Ziggy, he's connected, questioning, Shiki? He says, you little brat, do you erase mother? She's fading now. Oh, Shiki says, she's fading now, but I'm gonna save her. Grandpa, I have a favor to ask you. Ziggy questions, what is it? Shiki explains, I need you to keep that guy busy. We'll be in trouble if he figures out what we're up to. Yeah, no kidding. It's essentially, keep doing what you're doing, Gramps. Ziggy, without missing a beat, just goes in and just smacks one in the face. Was there a page I missed? Cause just wow. And Ziggy tells him nothing could be easier. Just gotta be. Oh man. It's like, can do, kiddo. Back with Shiki and Rebecca. He says, Rebecca, I'm gonna need you to help us summon the chronophage again. Rebecca says, yeah, I don't mind doing that, but do you really think this will work? She questions with a worried face. Shiki tells her with a smile, I know it'll work, and I have one last job to do too. Uh-oh. Rebecca questions, last job? Shiki then has a solemn expression on his face saying, once we've gotten everything to work, I'm gonna destroy that chronophage. Oh snap! It's funny too, because I was already wondering, it's just like, yeah, the chronophage again, yeah. Okay, are we ever gonna deal with that? And then she's just like, oh, we gonna freaking destroy that shit. I'm like, well, okay then. It's actually something that should have dawned on me a long time ago how this was gonna go down. Because it's essentially just like with in Rave Master, while you had Lucia Raregroove as the main villain, you also had this entity that had to be stopped, called Endless, or with Fairy Tail, where the main villain was Xerath, but there was also this entity, more or less, that had been a problem several times, but it was like this extra thing to take on, which was Acnologia. And just because it's essentially Mashima treading on familiar ground isn't a bad thing, because these are all things that were set up for the longest time. We've had to essentially deal with Void for the longest time because we kept kind of wondering, okay, what is the thing that we keep needing to deal with? I mean, we kept having to deal with the Oresius Says Galactica, but there were a lot of seeds that were leading us to having to deal with Void, the Eden's One, all that good stuff. As it turns out, he was behind the scenes of so many things going on. But at the same time, we were also constantly needing to contend with the chronophage. Just this entity going around causing problems. I love that in some arcs we tried to use it, in other arcs we just had to escape the damn thing. You never knew when the chronophage was going to be the big thing coming at you towards the climax that you had to get the hell the way out of. With Endless, it kind of wasn't as prominent an entity. With Acnologia, it kind of came out of nowhere, but there was enough of a connection to Xerath that was like, okay, I get you. But with the chronophage was seeded so much throughout the series that it's like, okay, good. The destruction of this thing, or just dealing with it in general, has been such a long time coming that I'm very interested to see how we end up dealing with this. So that's my question to you. How do you think we end up dealing with this? Shiki seems to have a plan. I mean, shoot, his plan already was pretty good. And I love the fact that he's just like, no, Mother said it in her explanation. She said how to save her. And she seems to be taking her sweet time and dissipating. I kind of question that because it's like, she didn't just instantly go poof. It's like, no, she's slowly disappearing. Which means we have a countdown. Though I definitely feel like we have to have a final confrontation of some sort between Void and Shiki. I don't know. It'd be weird if it's only Ziggy who deals with Void. Not to mention, I hate to make it sound like this, but it's weird that Ziggy's still around. It's not a bad thing. There's enough explanation as to why he's still here, but this feels like, kind of like Ziggy needs to die here. And also because of the nature of the Eden Zero, I feel like the Eden Zero needs to go bye-bye too. I don't know, that might be blasphemous to say, but I feel both of them need to go by. It's just weird having them existing, knowing what they're made up of and are. Like Void, Ziggy, Eden Zero, which is to some degree Rebecca. Then again, I don't know. I mean, this series has been just hip deep in its ridiculous and wild time travel situation, which is funny. You know, Mashima has always done time travel stories to some degree in most of its series. It was present in Rave Master. It was a big plot point in Rave Master. Big plot point in Fairy Tail. But it runs rampant in this story. So it's Mashima kind of going full whole hog with something he's always kind of fiddled around with. So I'm really interested to see if he can really stick the landing. Because I will say, Rave Master, even in Fairy Tail, I've never hated the ending. Honestly, I always kind of like them. I mean, they're not the best, but they always end in a satisfying enough way. Like, I have yet to be pissed off or like upset at the way that any Hiro Mashima story ends. Because it always kind of ties up all the loose ends for the most part in every series. So I have enough trust in Mashima, and especially how much planning he definitely had to put into this considering what he's trying to do. Like, there's no way the ending to this could be an ass pull because there's too much work put into this. The setup, it just feels a little too, like, solid to me. Not to say that there aren't plenty of holes. It's just everything feels like it's ready to come to a decent climax, if nothing else. But again, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the ride. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din, and I hope to see you later. Take care. Bye-bye.